Okay, so I wanted to welcome you for an InDesign workshop. Create product marketing presentation with Adobe InDesign. My name is Hannah Messer. I teach here the certification classes, Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. This semester, we're doing actually InDesign in person from 4 to 6 today, and Photoshop from 6 to 8, and tomorrow there's online classes for Illustrator and Photoshop. So every kind of stuff, Photoshop is always some online and some in person, and then we switch between InDesign and Illustrator, depending how people want to take it online or not. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, do you know InDesign? Did you look at InDesign before, or it's completely a blur? You took a look at it before, so all of you. And then you are communication. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do and why do you want to take a class like this?
The classes to do social media. One this. I just want a chance to get to know how to design what we and do some design stuff.
Perfect. Yeah. Yes, great.
I'm finishing with my undergrad in communications, but I'm also finishing up my master's in marketing and marketing.
Wow.
The industry I'm trying to get into requires
InDesign.
so I just want to learn how.
Wow, so you're doing both
Yeah, it's
things.
like the PDP program, so I'm like finishing my last class in undergrad.
Wow, this is amazing. Great. Yes.
I'm a graduate student in specialized journalism program. I also do like photography and I'm starting like my own business, so I kind of want to learn digital media marketing. So I figured I keep seeing this pop up and on, so I wanted to learn.
Perfect. Yes.
Hi, I'm in public relations and and now I'm so I think how to design, how to make the market presentation, description and the clients is better to have a better
understanding.
design.
Perfect. So since you guys don't never opened a little bit InDesign, we'll switch it a little bit. But I prepared a little presentation for you guys because we're gonna talk first and then not in length all the way because that's part of, like you said, the digital marketing, which is huge nowadays because that's everybody is getting into promoting themselves online. It's not like when it used to be. When I started to do it, I just made a brochure or postcard and sent it to a client and said, look at me, this is what I know. But now it has to have so many other things in it. And then based on that, you design your presentation. So what I prepared is, first of all, I prepared something. If you want to follow me, and when we start doing it, I just send you some files, like let's say a water bottle. And I put it, of course, for USC, because we are in USC. So I cut out something from online. And by the way, I did cut out from online from the USC store. And a minute later, it was on my Instagram. You know how it is, right? And not even a minute. I'm looking at my Instagram. I'm like, oops, a water bottle. I didn't ask you guys, but it is there. So first of all, what do you do when you do before even looking at InDesign, right? So whenever you have a project, which is even if it's a product or marketing marketing campaign for a product, you kind of have to go in and look at the stuff that you have and start working with it. So what I prepared over here is a small presentation. And then if I click over here, the first thing, hello, do you know InDesign? Did you use InDesign before? Good. So great. So we start looking at the presentation, not in InDesign right now. And by the way, you have a link to this presentation, which is pretty simple. And the first thing you want to just ask yourself before you do anything, even if you do a documentary, even if you are a journalist, even you're public relation, kind of want to create a brand identity for yourself to understand what you're doing. So what I'm gonna talk about generic stuff for brand identity, and then we're gonna talk about the stuff that we're gonna do in InDesign, and then we're gonna open something, and we're gonna do kind of a step-by-step little things in InDesign. We're not even gonna do the text itself, we're gonna do text for position only, but I have for you different kind of sentencing and things like this that you can go and copy and look at that. So what do you do with the brand identity and what makes it recognized? So you really need to think about the colors, the typefaces that you are going to use, and also create a logo. Do you create a logo usually for a campaign for yourself in InDesign? Most of the time not. The InDesign zero to tell you yes, oh, you can do it. Yes, you can. But really you want to create your logo in Illustrator. So Illustrator is really your design tool, meaning like icons, for prototyping something, logos, that's what you're gonna do in Illustrator, and then you're gonna place it in InDesign. So I bought your logo and I took the USC logo, of course, and then we're gonna put it inside our InDesign presentation. Another thing that you need to know a little bit when you work with InDesign, unless you work with another team with you, you need to know a little bit Photoshop. Why? Or you need to know how to deal with images because you place the images in InDesign. So basically what is InDesign? I call it the bucket. It's a layout program that everything goes inside and then you do the layout and the pages and everything in InDesign, and then you can create a beautiful presentation, which I'm going to show you some samples in a minute, and then create that. So I have some sample to show you in a second. But here is like an example, like a brand for Nike, right? So everybody that sees the swoosh today, even if you do any marketing campaign, you don't have to say anything. You just put the swoosh and everybody knows you're talking about marketing. Not so think about it before you're going to do something for your own company or for a project that you're going to do later. You want to create some kind of a brand and be part of that. Why is it important? Because it's recognizable. So over here, you can see Coca-Cola. It's another example. Purposely, what I did, I took two big companies that everybody recognized. But if I'm going to put my logo, nobody recognizes it, but it's my brand that I created for my design company. I call my design company Macking Out. You see this tiny little logo there. So I'm the only one who recognizing it. But when I do stuff, I use the colors, the typefaces, and everything that I created for this logo. So everything is really kind of has some kind of continuity with it. And I have in all of them, I kind of put some a link for you guys so you can go to the link and see the best world identity stuff that you have just to get some information. The other stuff when I start, I'm looking at the element of brand identity. So you can see here logo and fonts, color palette that you are going to work with, visual elements that are going to be part of your research when you do stuff. So you can find different one, maybe to do mood boards to start doing the project, and then the style of your design. So I always ask myself before I do anything for a client, if they want me to do a presentation, if I use InDesign or I use Photoshop or I use Illustrator or I use Adobe Express, I want to create some kind of a design brief so that I know where I'm going. So for me, the design brief is almost like a map. So I know where I'm going. Where do I start the project? And then I write down stuff kind of like step by step before even going to the computer and before going and showing the stuff to the client that I have or for myself. Create a document that explaining like the design concept, the target audience also. So you're creating a marketing presentation, let's say for a client, what is the target marketing? You like, let's say you're doing a documentary. What are you aiming for? What is the target market? Who is going to see it? And what are they going to do with it? So if you don't do the right target market and the audience, it's going to fail, basically. So, and then of course the typeface, and then creating the color panel that's finding it, and we're gonna look at that. And then you can see here I have colors that I created for a certain project. You see these colors here? This was maybe the logo that I created for a company that called Nature Water Product and Herbs, kind of pretend something, right? And then this is the logo that I created, but you can see that the colors are really associated with. So because it's not actually a digital marketing class right now, we have to look at InDesign, considering that you know already what do you want to put in there and what is your product, but you need to look at InDesign. So what we're going to do is together, we might create kind of like a template together for something and maybe put some images in there, maybe for position only. I didn't bring a lot of images today on purpose because guess what you can do in InDesign right now? You have AI in InDesign. So you can actually look for an image for presentation only and say something about it, and maybe we'll get some images. And we'll look at some kind of prompts for images for the beginning and see if all of us get the same, and you'll see the some of them. I also brought some slogan for us, kind of like to work with it. So before we open InDesign, I'm just gonna go back to my area over here. And then you can see over here, I gave you some assets over here. And then you can see, I just took it from the internet somewhere, right? And I took, that's the water bottle. That's one kind of water bottle, or another kind of water bottle that we want to promote over here. And then I do have another thing here, and this is USC Identity Guideline. So if you're creating something for a company already, you have to ask them about their guideline that they have, what color they have, of course, and then what is the identity. We're going to pretend something right now, but this is super important because if tomorrow somebody hires you to do something for USC in terms of marketing, they're going to give you that. They're going to say, this is what you have to stay with. This is our color. You like it or you don't like it. This is what you have to use. And this is also the typeface. So they're going to have their own typeface and you're going to have to go in and use. So I just gave it to you. And where did I take it? I took it from the marketing page from USC, because they'll give it to you if you need to go in and work with it. And also they're going to show you if you wanted to do a black and white logo, you have to stay with these colors. If you don't use this color and you do a major advertising for USC, you're going to get a phone call. They're going to find you, and the lawyer going to call you and say you have to change the colors and you have to stay within the base of these colors that you have. And I put it, see, USC Graphic Identity Program, and you can see this is the way you want to do the USC, and they tell you what you can do and what you cannot do, what sizes you're going to use, and everything. Of course, we're not going to do all of that today here, but I want you to think about it in your back of your mind before later on you're going to do any kind of presentation. So now I'm just going to open InDesign. And let's see, you can open InDesign as well. This is when I open InDesign kind of like almost the first time. But if you never opened it before, it might look something like that. Let me know if you have something like this kind of like on the screen. Of course, you can see that I have a lot of stuff over here. I even have a presentation here in InDesign, another presentation. All this stuff that I do it actually in InDesign. And I'm going to open something. Hopefully I still have it so you can see it over there. And that's why I have the files that I used before, and they are a certain kind of presentation. I even do my invoices actually in InDesign. I do everything in InDesign. I place stuff from Word and Excel into InDesign, but everything else I do directly in InDesign. So if I didn't want to see all the files here, I can actually go to my preferences file, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then just go back here and, oops, I'm just going to go back here. I want to go and hide that. So basically, this is what you have over here. So what if I wanted to open something that I worked with before. This is a file that I have, and then I can go back and skip it and look at this. This is something I did in InDesign. Do you see? I don't know, it opened very fast, but it gave me an error message there. It told me one of the typefaces that I use is not really installed anymore on my computer. Well, I don't know what I did. I took it away. So that's something to pay attention to when you're working in design. We're gonna look at cloud typefaces, but if you have some images and typefaces that are not in the cloud, you're gonna have to do something called packaging in design. So you're gonna take everything and package it all together so somebody else can go in and work with it. Because if you don't package, it's gonna be a problem, okay? So now I'm gonna go into my presentation mode in a minute. And then I'm gonna present it. So this is something, and I did it for something else completely, but you can see in a minute, this one, I was a speaker in Adobe Max this year in Florida, and they wanted me to do something about Illustrator. So of course I prepared something, and then you can see here the name of the presentation. I did everything in InDesign. So I spoke about who I am, but you can see some things are kind of following a certain things, the taglines, the information about myself, links, it's all linkable. So I can go back to the link and go back to it. Then I'm telling them what we're going to do. It's not a lot about writing, but I wrote some stuff and then again something and more stuff here. And then thank you. And you see I have here a QR code. So the people watching the presentation, if you go with your phone, they can go into all the files that I used and I don't have to give them any file. Also, I went here to a link for the training file. So I went in and the training file are in Google Drive and everybody can go and do that. So now, and I did that in InDesign. So now we're just gonna go back to InDesign and let's look for a second at our UI before we start doing something. I'm not gonna save that. I'm just gonna go back here and hide the control over here again. And then this is what I have in InDesign by default. This is my welcome page that I have over here. I can open from here a new file. I can open a file that I have already. I can go to home. That's what I have here. And I also can go to the Learn tab. So I know you're new to InDesign completely, but if you feel like later going in and see the videos, there's a lot of videos there that telling you how to get started with InDesign and do all kind of stuff like that. Then, of course, you have your files. And in a minute, you see I have a lot of files over here that inside InDesign, and then people that shared with me some stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to new file with you guys. So we're going to do it pretty slow, and I'm going to tell you exactly where to go if you want to follow me, because what we're going to do is we're going to create the first few pages and talk about how to do it, and then we can bring in some images and see how it's going to look. Of course, we always can do something a little bit different. So if I'm going to go to File and New, this is my dialog box. Look at that. What do I have here? And what are we going to do? I have stuff that says recent. So that's the stuff that I did before. I have stuff that's saved, and I saved some preset that I wanted to work with. I have stuff for print. I have stuff for web, and I have stuff for mobile. So depending how you want to do your presentation, you can also make a decision how the presentation can be. And look what I have all the way down here. I have templates. So they're giving you some free templates, but you see how beautiful the templates are when you see the thumbnails? You don't have these images. These images are part of Adobe Stock. So if I'm opening one in a second, you're going to see a gray for position only because you have to purchase it. But they're going to give it to you. So let's say today we're going to do something for print. So what do I have over here? The first thing that I have here is the size of the presentation that I want to do. And then you can see I have a letter, I have legal, and then I have other stuff over here, different kind of sizes. And all the way down, look what I have here. And I kind of want to show you how it looks over here. And then it says minimum portfolio. Let's see if I have something that has some kind of presentation over here. And if I'm going to go back here, vintage brochure, I'm just going to click on it. And then you're going to look at the preview. So this is what I have in the preview. That's a brochure, which could be a presentation, right? Every brochure can be a digital presentation, and I can also print it. And then I'm looking at that and look at this beautiful brochure. See if you can look at that. And then if I'm downloading it, let's see if it's going to let me download it. Sometimes it takes a long time. It goes from Adobe Stock over here. And then I'm going to close the preview. And then I'm going to go and close this one too. And I'm going to do File and Open. And look where it is. It could be in the Adobe library already, or it could be directly inside my downloads over here. And in my downloads, I can go see here if it's here. And then I mean, it didn't come in here yet, but it could be in my panel over here. So I'm going to go back here to the new file, and I'm just going to go and create a custom file over here. But I'm going to go in to my panels. So you see on the side, we have panels. I know it's pretty small, so it is hard to see. But if I extend the panels, I see it in an extended view. And I'm collapsing it, I see it over here. And the one thing you want to look at in Adobe InDesign is basically you want to look at the CC libraries. So this is kind of like the libraries that you can start sharing with people. Look at this library. Do you see what I have here? I do have a lot of stuff about USC. I did it on purpose. So I opened the library and I put the stuff, and I'm going to show you how to open the library and put some stuff into it. And that's something that you can start doing when you're doing certain kind of design. But I'm going to go in and see if I have it in the Adobe stock. And I'm searching to see if I have Adobe stock library. Adobe stock. And if I don't see it here, I'm just going to go back here and see my other libraries that I have. So I have a lot of libraries, Adobe Express, let's say Adobe Stock. So these are a bunch of stuff that I have, and I can go in and open different kind of templates that I have over here. Maybe my template did not open yet because it takes a long time sometime. And sometime, oh, maybe this one, you see here? I have an annual report that I did from before, and then it will go in here, and then it will open probably Illustrator because I dragged and dropped the stuff from here to Illustrator. And I have another annual report over here. So what we're going to do is we're not going to start with the template. We are going to go in and start kind of from scratch and look at the library that we have and add some stuff. So let's all go File and New Document. We're going to decide to do print today. 8.5 by 11, or maybe you want to do 11 by 8.5. Could be different sizes. We're going to do a small presentation. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say that I want to go in and make that landscape. The main thing that you want to do is click on your preview. Why do you want to see the preview here? Because look what I have. Right away, I'm seeing the beginning of my presentation. If I'm doing a presentation that's going to be online, usually you don't really do facing pages. You do pages one after the other because we're going to create a PDF for me. If I'm going to print the brochure, you want to do facing pages because you're going to have a cover and you're going to have the pages. But today we're gonna make a marketing presentation that will go online somewhere, and you still can print it later, and you can always transfer it into a printing one. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not gonna say facing pages. Why is it so important? Because you're gonna see it's gonna look a little bit different when you do that. And how many pages do we want to do? We can make a decision now, or we can make it with one page and start designing stuff in something that they call it a master page or a parent page, that they're going to give the page a look the way we wanted it to be. But I'm going to go and do one page right now. And then you're going to decide if you want to have columns or not columns on it. So what does it mean if you want to divide it into half and start doing a presentation? So let's decide to do 2 columns. There's the gutter. It's a space between the columns. I'm going to click one time and do 0.25, something super simple. And by the way, when I really start stuff like this, believe it or not, I might do it on a paper first and start looking and kind of like designing some stuff. And I might bring something like this to a client, and I might tell them, look at that. That's going to be the cover, the welcome. And then I'm going to do something about me, and then about the project. So I might do some little thumbnails for me ahead of time. Does that make sense? I don't just rush right away to the computer. I want to do some thinking. But of course, we don't have a lot of time, so we're gonna want to utilize our InDesign, right? So I'm gonna go back here. What else do I have here? Margin. What does it mean, margin? Anybody knows what it means? Exactly, the area within that you don't want to exceed, because if you are, nobody's going to see it, and especially later when you're going to print. Margins are super important, and you can decide on the size of your margin. So we're going to go back here. The default is 0.5 all around. We can change it as you want. So what I want to do over here, I'm going to go in, and if you go in and unlink it, or link it. So I'm going to go in and make it different. So maybe the top, I want to make it 1 inch, because maybe I'm going to have some kind of a tagline. And maybe the bottom, I want to do also 1 inch. And every now and then, I'm going to go in and look at my printout. You see here, the preview, it's already looking different. If I'm just going to go in just to show you and create, I want to do 3 columns. Look at it right away. Do you see the 3 columns right now? I might leave it a 3 column. I'm just going to go back to 2 columns. I just want to show you that everything that I do, I'm going to see right away in the preview. Then you have bleed. So the bleed is actually the area that outside of the page, but you're doing it only for print, because online presentation does not have a bleed. We can create a bleed for later, but the online presentation is not going to see it. So when do I use the bleed? If I'm thinking that I'm going to print it, I might prepare a bleed also. And then you're not going to see it anyway in your online presentation, so you're not going to worry about it. So for fun, let's create a bleed. So usually for a bleed, they're doing it some kind 0.25 or 1 to 5 all around. Then there is another thing here that you're not going to see in the presentation, but it's something for yourself to look at when you start creating. It's called a slug. It's great for when you send to print, but in the slug, you can write information for yourself. So you can write kind of like, I call it the love letter to the stuff that you're designing, right? And nobody's going to see it but you. And then when you're going to do the presentation, it's not there, but for yourself, when you're looking at it, you can do it. Sometimes I put some stuff there for a client, and it says started at 12 p.m. and then at 6 p.m. and then I know how much I worked, and then so usually the slug, I'm going to put it all the way down only So I'm going to go back here and put the slug only in the bottom. And in a minute, you're going to go and see that. I might give it a name right now, or I might give it a generic name because we don't know really what we're going to do. We might start doing it as a template because maybe every month you're going to do a marketing presentation for the same client and it has this have the same colors, the same thing, but different content. So I'm going to go back here and click on the save document preset that I have. And then I'm going to click on the preset and I'm going to say presentation underscore 2025. I'm just giving it a name. And I'm going to click Save Preset. And you see it's over here. So every time I'm going to start, it's going to give me the same thing. It's always going to be here unless I'm deleting it. Does that make sense? But I still want to save it. So I'm going to call it presentation underscore template. And I'm going to click create. Now I called it presentation template and it is an INDD, an InDesign file. I didn't save it yet. I want to save it now. File and save as. And I'm going to go to my desktop. Look what you can do. You can save it to the cloud right now, which is wonderful. And this is the format that you can do. InDesign 2025, InDesign template, and InDesign CS4 or later, which is called IDML. So if some of us don't have the newest cloud, they can still open it. Otherwise, you can open it. So what does it mean? If it's an InDesign file, it's a INDD. If it's a template, it's INDT. And we can start as a template. We'll do some stuff, and then I'm going to show you how to make it into a real file. So you're not overriding your file. So I'm going to click template and click save. And this is what I have. I just have the stuff that I have here. Might just going to go into file and open for a minute. Oh, not open here. File new. Another document for a second. And then I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to open the one I downloaded. And then I'm going to open that. And look how it looks. Remember how beautiful it was before? When we looked at the preview? Now I'm going to go to maybe a presentation and look what it says, Vintage Magazine. And then you can see here some stuff and look at that black area. What is it? That's for position only because these are the images you had to purchase. So I saw it in the preview, but I don't own it. And then you can see over here, I have different kind. That's a nice way of creating some kind of a template to create some, and that's the end of that. So how did I do it and how did I look at the presentation right now? I'm going to go back to InDesign and then all the way down, you can see two views. That's super important. One view is a normal view and another view is a preview view. The preview shows you everything without mistakes. And then below that, you have a presentation mode. So if I'm going to go to the regular view, do you see the pink area over here? These are typefaces that somebody used, but we don't have it. So if I'm going to go to the type tool and highlight it and go all the way up here, there is a typeface that was used that we do not have. So that's what happened with template that you take from somebody. If you don't own the images, you don't have it. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do, we're going to go to our presentation. Let's first look at the stuff here all the way to the right. And I'm going to tell you why I have these kind of panels over here. I'm going to go to Window with you guys and go to Workspace. So look what I have over here. These are workspaces that Adobe is suggesting for you if you want to do certain kind of work. You have the advanced one that has a lot of panels on the side. You have a book if you created a book. You have digital publishing. You have essential, classic, interactive PDF, printing and preview, review, and typography. So depending what you want to do, that's when you see panels on the side. I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to go to Essential Classic. Do you see that? And this one is my Essential Classic. And maybe I worked with it before. So I'm going to go to my Essential Classic and reset it to default. This is the Essential Classic. That's how it looks. What do we have there? On the right side are the panels, and this is the CC library. Why do I see all this stuff here? Because this is my CC library and I have tons of stuff there. On the left side is the toolbar. Is it looking a little bit different than the other one? Yes. The other one has two columns because that somebody made it like this. So what I'm doing is I'm making it in two columns. I'm going to collapse the CC library and I'm going to click on it and drag it over. So you see I have one kind of line over here. I'm making it a lot easier. Dragging and dropping it. Something fun. And what do I have here? Page. You're always going to have the page panel in InDesign. It's almost like your layers in Photoshop. You have to have it. Otherwise, you cannot work with it. Then you have the layers panel. What is the layers panel in InDesign? In InDesign, the layers panel is really for organization. Everything can be in one layer if you don't want it. Why? Because it is files that you're bringing in and out, and you can set it up. It's not as important as in Photoshop that you have to have layers, right? So I have that over here. What else do I have over here? I have the links panel. That's another one that's super important. Why? Because what did we say before? What are we doing? We're bringing stuff. So if I'm a good designer, somebody else, either I'll do it or somebody else in your friend, they're gonna do some stuff. They're gonna say, these are the Photoshop files. These are the Illustrator file. This is the text that I typed for you. You place it in InDesign and you see everything in the links funnel. If you don't have it later, if you let it place it and then go and say, oh, I placed it in InDesign. This is so cool. I'm going to send it to my friends. If you don't tell the machine to package it, you're going to open it as a question mark. So you can view it, but you're not going to have it. You cannot do anything with it. So it's really super important to be very, very organized when you use that. So what do we want to do first over here? Of course, I have the stroke, I have the colors, color panel, and I have the swatches. Look at my swatches over here. I don't really, let's say I want to do stuff for USC. So I kind of wanted to use the USC colors and maybe others. So of course I can go and say file new and find out the numbers of the CMYK that I have from the other file that I have and start putting it in. Or I'm going to show you how to figure out colors based on images if you're not really married to a certain color. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do file and place. Do you see the shortcut? Command or Control D. Do you see me kind of looking and see where is file place? Because I never go there. I always do Command D or Control D if I'm using Windows. That's a place shortcut. And it's asking me, what do you want to place? What can you place in InDesign? You can place another PDF. You can place a JPEG, PNG, AI file, Adobe Illustrator file, or Photoshop file that you have. You can place there, and you're gonna see it in your links panel. Right away, it's linked. They're not gonna ask you to embed it or not. Embedding it, making it part of InDesign, that's later if that's what you decide. So I'm gonna go to the USC seminar, and look what I have here. This is the presentation. This is the outline that I made here, everything has about digital imaging, and this is the assets. So I can go back here and place that and see the numbers or the PMS that I have, or I can just decide, you know what, I'm going to just place the logo for now because I want to show you how to create colors from an image. So I'm going to click on the logo and it says replace selected item. I don't need to. You can also go in and say show import option. So it's going to tell you stuff about the image. If it is a Photoshop file, it will show you the layers. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just turn it off and I'm going to click open. And this is what I have over here. Do you see that? What can I do here? If I do one click, that's the original size. I'm going to do Command or Control Z, but if I do that, click and drag, that's going to be a little guy. So depending how you want to place it. Also, you can go in and create a bucket and put the stuff in, and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to do the big one because we want to see. So look what I have here. I have here some colors. I'm going to look also at the swatch panel over here. These are the generic colors that I have. Maybe I don't want them at all. Maybe they're going to interrupt me when I'm working. So you can also go back here and go over here and say, select all unused. And look what it did. It selected the colors that are not part of it. Usually I do it later, so I'm not going to do it now. When I finish the job, the printer or you don't want to have colors that you didn't use. So I'm not going to delete it, but if I deleted it, that's the default colors. Now, I want to go in and sample these colors. So I'm going to go to my toolbar. And then you can see here in the toolbar, you have a selection tool, you have direct selection, you have the type. We're going to use the type tool all the time. We're not going to draw a lot of stuff. We have frames to draw, but then you have the eyedropper. And I'm clicking and holding it to see what's inside. I have color theme tool and I have an eyedropper. What is the difference between them? The eyedropper is going in and sampling for you styles and colors. So it could be the style of your type, the style of the frame and everything. The color theme will give you a theme that you can go right away and put it even in your library. So click first on the color theme and just go and click somewhere on the image. And let me know what you see there. What do you see? And how awesome is it? You see 5 colors and you see different kind of colors. You have the red, a dark red, a yellowish, a dark orange, a darker orange, and a kind of like the magenta that we used to. Next to it, you have 2 symbols. One symbol says, add this theme to the current library. And then the other one says, add it to your swatches panel. Do you see that? So I'm going to click and look what I have. I already have it here and it says color theme. I can collapse it and I have it over here. What if you don't like it as much? If you go in and click on the arrow, look what else do you have. You have a colorful theme, a dark theme, a deep theme, and a muted theme. Different kind of themes from these 5 colors. Does that make sense? So a lot of little option, and from that you can do other stuff. So maybe I'm going to go into the muted theme. And I'm going to go back and put it here. Muted theme and colorful theme. Before doing everything, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my CC library. InDesign is the only one that call it CC library in Adobe. The other software call it libraries. Why is that? Because InDesign also have a local library and it's great for presentations because you can open a local library and drag and drop this stuff into that. What is the difference? The local library is local. Of course it is, because it says local. But it's going to be on your hard drive. Everything that you bring there has to be in your hard drive. The CC library is up there, and you can share it with the entire application, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. So I'm gonna go in and let's open a library together, a CC library. So I'm gonna go to the library over here, and I'm gonna say create new library. And they're gonna ask you to give it a name. So you can call it anything. I'm gonna call it marketing presentation battles. I'm just creating it. And I'm gonna click create. Look what you have here. Everything that you have here, you can start. It tells you, bring some stuff in there. So I'm gonna go into my muted color theme and I'm gonna click and look at this. Where is it? It's here already. I just clicked on this area here on a tiny, tiny little symbol that says, add this theme to my current CC library. Tiny. You need to have a magnifying glass nowadays when you work. They're so tiny. It is so hard. But what if I wanted to go to my colorful theme? Look at this. And look what I have. I have 2 color themes already here. Wonderful. I don't have to save the library. Guess what? It's already there. Guess where it is though? Woo-hoo, up in the sky, not here, right? And then I can open Photoshop and guess what? I can use these colors in Photoshop. I can use this color in Illustrator. I can use the color in everything. Now what I want you to do is click on the selection tool and select this little logo that I did. Go to the library and you see the plus sign. Click on the plus sign and look what you have. You have the word graphics. And I'm clicking and look what I'm getting. I'm having that over here. Does that make sense? So it's here. Whoever made it, this is a JPEG that I brought in, but if that was an Illustrator file, I could fix it. It's always going to be in my library. Does that make sense? It's under the plus sign that I have over here. Later on, what we can do is we also can go in and create our own colors. We also can go in and put some other images there. The typeface and everything will be there. But now I'm just going to go and even delete the logo. I don't need the logo anymore. But it's still in my library. Let's see what the difference between that and a local library. I'm going to go into File and New. And look what I have. You can create a new document, a new book, and a new library. When you say library, look what they're telling you. You know, you have a CC library, Do you want to go there? You say, no, I have it already. I don't need to. And they're asking you to save your library. And then I'm going to call it marketing projects. And click save. And look what I have over here. This is a panel within Adobe InDesign. And if I'm looking at it, it says INDB. And the difference is you can go in and put some stuff in there. But if I delete the stuff from my hard drive, I'm going to get a question mark over here. Can I bring the colors the way I brought it over here? No, I cannot. Why not? Because it's looking for an object or anything to put in there. But we're going to start putting stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that and bring it over. Look at this. It looks like a real library. And the CC library looks like it is online. Different kind of icons. If I don't have it, I can always open it. You can open unlimited amount of libraries for everything that you have and have a local library too. But there's limitation. Does that make sense? So that's kind of cool. I have it here. And I'm going to go to the swatches and bring it here. What else do I want to bring here? I'm going to go to Window. I'm going to go into Interactive. And I'm going to go back here and say hyperlinks. Because I want to have hyperlink in my presentation. And I'm going to bring it over. And I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to go to Styles, and I'm going to say Character Styles. And I want to go in and bring the character style, the paragraph style, and maybe another kind of stock style that you have. And maybe I'm going to go in and bring my object styles. So you see now, my workspace looks a little bit different, right? I created and I added some stuff. So now I can go to Window, Workspace, and say, going to go Window and Workspace and say New Workspace. And then I'm going to call it something that I want to work with. So I'm going to call my Hannah underscore marketing. This is my workspace when I do marketing presentation. I don't have brushes in InDesign. I don't have filters in InDesign. So if you want something really jazzed up, you're going to do it in Illustrator and in Photoshop. Does that make sense? And I made my workspace. So now I have it. So if I miss something, I can always go to my workspace. Does that make sense? Now we can start looking at what I have. So this is the beginning. What do I want to do? I want to start doing some kind of design. So I might go to my page panel and I'm stretching it a little bit. And look what you have over here. I'm going to click and drag it. Oops. I'm going to click and drag it a little bit. And I have something says parent. What does it mean? They used to call it master. They changed it 4 years ago because they said it's not correct to call it master because of slavery and everything else. They changed it and calling it parent page. Okay, that just decided. We're not going to get into this, right? So what does it mean master? The first, every file going to start with a master, and that's the original one. So I told it to be 2 columns, so it says 2 columns. But maybe I want to go in and give it a name, and then I'm going to do another master and call it opening page or something like that. So I'm just going to right click on the A parent, and then I'm going to say parent option for A parent. And then I can go and say that opening page. So this is my opening page. But look where I am now. I'm on the master. And I'm going to start designing stuff for the opening page, and maybe it's going to be for the end page or anything. So what do we want to go and create over here? In the opening page, maybe you want to have a background. Maybe you want to leave it white. Or what if you want a colorful background? There's no background in InDesign. What do you have to do? You have to go back here and create a rectangle and give it a color. So I'm going to go to the rectangle tool. I'm going to click at the edge of the margin of the, the bleed. And I'm going to do it bleed to bleed. So I created some kind of a rectangle. And the rectangle is 11.5 by 9 inches. If I didn't want to drag it, I'm just going to click one time with my type tool. And then I'm going to say I wanted it to be the width going to be 9. And then the height is going to be, the width is going to be 11.5 because including the bleed, and the height is going to be 9. And I can go in and click on it and look at that. It's here already. Now I want to color it. I'm going to go again to my workspace. And there is another panel that we didn't open. It's a newer panel. And then I'm going to go and find it, window, and I'm going to click on properties. And look what I have in the properties panel. It's going to tell you the fill of this rectangle. So I'm going to click in here and I'm going to go back here and fill it with a very light orange. It's not as light that I wanted, but I'm going to go in and make from it another color. So once I have it, I'm going to go to the flyout menu of the panel and I'm going to say new tint swatch. And I know it's a lot to comprehend because this is what InDesign is all about. Don't give up on it. It's good to get to know it, but it takes a while to set up the stuff. So I'm going to go back here and you see the tint all the way down. I'm going to make it, let's say 30. And I'm going to add that to here and look at this. It's nice and cool over here. I'm going to go back here and put it here. So what do I have here? You can see it's already on page 1. Why is it already on page 1? Because it is on the master. Does that make sense? Now, I can go and lock it. And I can go into object and I can lock it so it's not going to move. I'm still on the area here and I'm starting my presentation. And we're going to do something super simple today. What I'm going to do over here, I'm going to go back here to the opening page. And then I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to continue doing some other stuff. I'm going to go into object and lock it. And I want to do some other stuff. So what I want to do in the opening page, I want to go back here and see who I am, right? So I'm going to go to the type tool and maybe going to click and drag a text frame. And you can see it's giving you an option to see who you are, but that's in the master. If I don't want it in the master, I can go and do it later on in the area that I have. So I'm just going to go in and not do it right now here, but I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go to my rectangle tool. I'm going to click and drag another rectangle. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to fill it with a darker color. So I'm going to go to my beautiful colors and fill it with that. And then it tells you over here, the fill is orange. Maybe I want to give it a stroke, an edge to it. So I'm going to go back here and make it dark. And then I'm going to make it 2 points. I'm making it something super simple. And let's check it out. If I go into the preview, this is how your first page is going to look. Does that make sense? And I'm saving. And maybe all the way down, I want to do something else. I'm going to go again to the normal one. And now I'm just going to go and make a tinier one. So I'm going to select this, hold down the Option key, and go in and duplicate it. And then I'm going to go in and make it a little smaller. Checking it out, this is what my first page is going to look. And here I can go in and do anything else. I created a first page. I'm saving. Now we're going to go to the opening page, go to the flyout menu, and go in over here and say duplicate parent spread 8. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to go and duplicate the stuff that I have. And now I can start doing another parent page. I can go and decide, so my presentation maybe is going to be a little bit different. Or if I didn't want to do it like that, I can go back here and duplicate it. And then I'm going to go in and create the stuff directly here. So I'm going to go back here and create a rectangle, and then going directly to my appearance panel over here, and then see the light color that I had before. And this one, it's going to be maybe inside presentation. What do I want to go and put on this one? Maybe I just want to have it like this. I'm going to go back here to object and lock it, but I'm going to put some stuff over here. So I'm going to go back here and create a text frame. And not putting anything in it yet, but maybe I want the text frame to be on top of another color. So I'm going to go in and select the text frame and fill it with a color. So I'm going to go in and fill it in the muted theme, and I'm going to go and fill it with a light color that I found here in the muted, and that's going to be my text. And then I'm going to go to my frame, a rectangle frame, and that's going to be maybe a image frame. But I want to put the stuff in there automatically. So I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say fitting, and I'm going to say frame fitting options. And I'm going to tell it whatever you put in there, fill the frame proportionally. And this is what I did now. We're going to do a smaller presentation, and I'm saving. Now I have the first page. I'm going to go to the B parent. Right before that, I might right click on it. And then I'm going to say parent option, B parent. And I'm going to call it inside info. I might have more, but I'm just doing it very simple because we don't really work with InDesign all the way, right? We're just starting. Now I have it here, and I'm going to go in and bring that. So look what I have. I have page 1, page 2. I can have page 3, page 4, page 5, and then maybe I want page 6 to be the beginning and the opening page over here. And for some reason, it didn't give me the colors over here, which that's kind of probably a glitch on it, that I don't see really my color in the opening page. I should have seen my colors in the opening page. So I'm just going to go back here and duplicate the page over here and say duplicate the spread to the end of the document. So I have this and the inside. Now let's check it out. I'm going to go back here to a presentation mode and see what I have. And of course, you don't see a lot because they all look the same until the end. Does that make sense? But it's still a template, right? I'm just making a template and just playing with it. Now, what I'm going to do is start putting some stuff in there. So we're going to go into the opening page over here to the page 1. What do we want to put in there? Maybe we're going to do a marketing presentation, and then we're going to call it something. So I gave you some kind of drink advertising slogan in area here. I just went online and I have a slogan: drink up, quenching your thirst, you never last, irresistible, refreshing, unforgettable taste. There isn't anything like this. The refreshed taste will remember you. And then beat the heat with the name of the beverage that we have. I'm going to go in and highlight just the drink up. Copy it. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go back to a text. And every time you do text with InDesign, you have to create area. You cannot just start typing. It has to have a frame. And I'm going to paste. And I'm going to go in there, click on it, and highlight it with the type tool. Now we're getting into the type. So what do we have in the properties? It will tell you it's Minion Pro size 12. Why? That's the default typeface for InDesign. I can also go back here all the way up in my control and I see the character style Minion. What do you do in character style? Creating the style of your typeface and choosing it. And then in the paragraph, you see how it is aligned on the text. So I'm going to go back here and let's say I don't want to have Minion Pro. So look what I have over here. So first of all, I might make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. I just see the drink up. I made it 48, but now maybe I don't want. So look at that. These are all my cloud typeface. The one that says TT, these are all the typefaces that soon Adobe is not going to support it. And then I'm going to go back here and decide which one I want to choose. So these are cloud typeface. When you do cloud typeface, you cannot package it. It has to go to the cloud and bring it. So I'm going to do two kinds. So let's say I'm just going to go back here and then I'm going to go back here and find something that I like and very readable. And depending what I have here, I'm just going to go back here and decide on a typeface. So I'm going to go back here and say drink up. I found a typeface. I can decide that I want to have it all caps. I can go back here and make it with kind of like parentheses on it. And it just didn't do it. This one. And then I'm just going to go and maybe that's maybe a weird typeface. So I'm going to go back here and go in to my latter one that I like all the time. And then I'm just going to go back here and make that heavy italic. And I'm going to go and do it to the center and make it a little bit bigger. Let's say that. So I have it here and I can go in and align it. So you can see it is in the center of the area. If I really want to align it to my area over here, I'm going to go to all the way up to the align area, decide what I'm aligning it to, and I'm going to click and I'm aligning it to my margin or to my page. Align to the margin, I'm going to go in and make it to the center, or I'm making it center to center over here. And now I'm just going to put it up there. So I have it here. Do I want to have it in different color? But look at what happens. What do I do now? I'm selecting it. If I go to the field, what do you think is going to happen? If I click on it and find another color, and let's say I want to go in and make that with dark magenta, look what happened. Why is it happening? Because if you select the frame is going to be colored. I'm going to undo it. I'm going to go to the type tool and I'm going to highlight that. And now I'm going to go in and look at the color. And I'm going to stretch it. And I have that. And now I have drink up and I have it here. So I'm going to go back here. And then it is a slogan. And look what happened. I added stuff to it. And what do you see now? It says drink and not drink up. So what happened is if you add some more stuff to a text frame, the text frame is going to tell you the things are missing. So I'm making the text frame a little bit bigger and aligning it to the center. And then I'm going to go back here and I said drink up. So let's say I have that. Can I make it a lot nicer? I could if I want. And if I want to go back here, I can go in to my effects and I can just go and do a drop shadow if I want. I'm not crazy about drop shadows so much because look how they are, but I'm gonna go in and make it a little smaller if I want, and a little smaller, and I have some kind of a drop shadow over here if I want to go and change it a little bit. So if you have that and you have it, you want it to go to every kind of titles later, you can save an object stuff to it as well. But now, remember the one that I had before? I had my little library over here, the local library. I'm just going to click and drag it in. And look what it is. It's here. And I'm going to double click here and say, I'm going to say it is a logo or a saying. And then I'm going to do a description and I can tell myself, apply on top of the page. So whatever I'm going to do, I'm starting to create the beginning of the page that I have. Now, I can go back here and I decide that I want to say, what is the story over here? So I can go again to the type and then I can say, well, let's say, I don't know what to say yet and how to call my presentation, right? Maybe I don't have a name for it. I can go to type and say fill with placeholder text. And then I can go back here and then go back here and make it a little bit bigger and then align it to the center and give it a color or a typeface. And now I'm actually can go in and do something here. I can say, I want it to be all caps. I wanted the leading to be a little bit bigger. And I wanted the color to be black. So look at that. This is the beginning of my presentation. And maybe you go in and have the color, or maybe you have the image that you have. So now if I have it over here, I can go to File and Place. And I can go and place my Photoshop bottle over here. And then I can go back here and drag it over. So look at this. I have the bottle over here, and maybe this is the story that it's going to be here. Right away, if I'm going to check the stuff over here, you can see in a minute that you can see it on the links panel. Do you see that? It's already there. I also can go to the regular local library and drag and drop it and call it water bottle. So I have it for later. But what if I wanted to share it with other people? I can also go to my regular library and go on the plus sign and say graphics. And now I have it here. I am going to go to the bottle here, and you see it's on top of the text. So now I want to tell it to move the text a little bit. I'm going to go all the way to my control or to my properties, and then I can go back here and warp text. So if I go to the second one, it is going to go back here and bring, oh, look what it did right now. Wow. This is really weird. Shouldn't do that. Okay, you see it's bringing the text here, it's bringing the text over here. So it's gonna go back here and I can put it on top of the text and it's just gonna go and align it to the area. So it's kind of pushing the text to the area that you have, and it's not like one on top of each other. If I don't want it there, I can go back here to the text and then I can go in to this area and move it around. And then you can see now it's clicking and moving it around the text that I have. So whatever I'm doing, I can go now to the text that I had, and I might make it a little smaller. And I might do select all, so everything is selected, make it a little smaller, and then maybe I don't want to have it all caps. So whatever I have it, this is the text that I'm going to put in there when I start working. And then you can see here, it's too long. So I can always go back here for position only and bring it here. And that's going to be like the beginning of the stuff that I have. If I wanted to go back here and make that a different one, whatever I'm going to do, I can do whatever it is, I can give it a color. So now, what if I wanted to save it and it is the template? And then later on, I'm going to put different kind of stuff in it. So all the colors are still there, but now I can make it into the InDesign file and add stuff to it, or continue doing it as a template and later on create from it something else. So we're going to leave it as a template right now. Do I want to go and put some stuff here? I can bring a logo. So I can go in and maybe I want to put a logo on the opening page. And I really don't know why my opening page does not have this one here. This is so weird. This is the weirdest thing that I have here. So I'm going to go in. That's going to be my opening page. And then I'm going to go back here and has it here. And this one, I have it all the way up here and I can create something else. If I want to go in to my opening page and go and bring, let's say, a logo, I can either place a logo from where I have or go to my library. I think I put this guy over here. So if I go back here and put it over here, you can see I'm going to hold down the Command and Shift key and make him a little bit smaller. And look what I have over here. I'm putting it here. So now if I go to my pages and I go to my opening page, I'm going to go back here. It's not because I did a different kind of opening page. I'm going to go back here and then click on that and then paste it directly to the area. And I have it here. So this is the beginning. I'm saving. It's still a template. Now, what if I wanted to save the opening page character? That's important because you want everything to look the same the whole time. So what shall I do with it? I'm going to go to my paragraph style. And I'm going to say new paragraph style. And I can give it a name, and it's important to give it a name that you remember. So you can say opening page style. You can say apply to the selection. You can even edit to the library later. You can see a preview. And now I can decide if this is how I want it. So I had it Minion Pro. I had it regular 36. I can change it, let's say, to an optical. I can change the leading a little bit for less. Do you see it changing it here? I can also go in to the case. It's a normal case, small cap, all caps, opening type, all small caps, or all lowercase. The position, it's going to be normal that I have it here. And then I'm going to go to advance or indent and spacing. Alignment is center. It's all good. I don't have any indentation and I click OK. But here in the colors, I can decide that I want to have it maybe a certain color. And I click OK. So look what I have now. I have it in the library and I have it over here. Does that make sense? And that's the opening page that I have. It says drink up. It says something about us and it tells you the story. And of course, you can put some information about yourself or you can do that later in the back of the page that you have. So now I'm saving. I'm going to jump to the second page because we want to do something with it, and we want to do maybe some kind of a URL. I'm going to go to the page, and I'm going to go to the second page. So look what I have over here. I have stuff for position only over here, but it was on your master over here. I'm going to go to the type, and if I click on it, it doesn't really let you open it. So you want to open the master pages. So I'm going to go in to the master page that I have, and I'm going to go in and say, I'm going to go back here, override all parent page items. So it's going to go back here and be open to do stuff for it. Or I'm going to, okay, I clicked over here. I'm going to unlock it. And then I'm going to click Command and Shift and click on it. So this is open and this is open. So what do I want to put in there? Something for position only. Maybe the story about the bottle. Maybe the story about the things that you have. So I'm going to do File and Fill with Placeholder. If not, you can place it if you have text. File Place will place anything that you have. And this is what I have here. And purposely, I wanted it to be on a color. So I'm going to zoom into it. And I'm going to select all. It is minion Paul, which I'm going to leave it now. I'm going to make it, let's say, a bigger size over here, maybe 15. And then I'm going to go back here and make it medium or semi-bold because it's a story about something. And here, the way I did it for position only, it did it automatically for me. But when you type something, you might have paragraphs. What does it mean, a paragraph, when you do a return? So I'm just going to pretend and do a return here and maybe another return here. And you're going to tell me I don't see anything because I don't see my returns yet. If you go to type and say show hidden characters, these guys are your returns. Return, another return, another return. And then if I don't want this return, I'm going to go and shift click and put it in here. And I have different paragraphs. So what do you do in InDesign when you have paragraphs? If I go back here and do another return, look what I created. What is it? Another paragraph. That's not good because if you want all the paragraphs to be the same space, you add the space based on the style. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on it and select all and go to the paragraph all the way in our control. And all the way up here, you have some kind of symbols about what's going on with this paragraph. So this one is first line indent. So I'm going to go back here and look what happened to the first line. All the first line are indented. Then what you have over here, space after the paragraph. So you see, it's the same space after all the paragraphs. So now, if I am going to go to my paragraph style and click over here and say new paragraph style, I can go back here and change some stuff and work with it. But I'm not doing the style yet because look what happened. It's kind of ugly. What I really wanted to do is have it inside this area kind of nicely. So I'm going to select the frame, click on the yellow area and make it a round frame. And you can see, but the text is inside to the edge and it doesn't really look good. So I'm going to go in to object and I'm going to go back here to the object, and I want to go back here and figure out how the text is going to sit inside the area that I have over here. So this says text frame options. And I'm going to click on the preview, and I'm going to go and do an inset. So look what happened. The text is sitting a little nicer inside the text, inside the box. Does that make sense? But you have to remember, right now it's for position only, so it's okay. But if you have real text, you want to make sure you're not missing the text that you have. And then I'm going to go back here and click OK. So now I might go to the object style, and I'm going to say new object style, and I'm going to call it text frame with type, and save it. And this is what I have. I saved the frame. I could have had a drop shadow. I could have anything that I want. But now what I want to do is I want to go and highlight, let's say, the paragraph. And I'm going to go to the paragraph style, and I'm going to go new paragraph style, and I'm going to say product information. And everything is okay. I'm going to click OK. So now it is already here. It's also in your paragraph. So if I'm going to go back here to the others, I'm going to say product information. So you see, if I click on it, I'm already saving it, and I'm saving the file. The next one, we're going to investigate a little bit. How do you do stuff with images? So I could do file and place the bottle inside, of course. So again, I'm going to do file and place. And I'm going to have a bottle, and maybe I have a different kind on purpose. I'm going to put another one, or I have something called snippets, and then I can put some other stuff into it. There's other images. And then maybe I'm going to go back here, and then it is going to go back and put it inside. But I don't want to put it in there. So I'm just going to select that, and then file and place. And then let's say I'm having this one. And then I'm just going to go and make sure it goes in there. I don't know why it doesn't go in there today, but I'm going to go back here and put it in there. Usually you can just put it directly inside the object that you have in there. But now you see I have another one. What if I don't have images? So now when I select that, I can go into a contextual text bar. And what you have over here, I don't want to see that. Basically, you can say import an image or text to image. And this one is basically AI within InDesign. And it's really good if you want to just present and you're not sure what you're going to do. So what I'm going to do over here, these are the samples, but I'm not sure I want these samples. I don't have anything about drinks over here. So I'm going to say sports bottle with orange colors and an athlete holding it. I don't know. Let's say if we did it something. And it generated, I have to agree, it might not be a great one, but it's going to give you a certain image over here. And look what I got here. I have an image over here. Do I like that? Do I like this image? Or do I like this image? Takes a moment, but you can see I have everything that belongs here. It's going to be maybe part of the image that I can use. And if I don't like it, I can change some stuff over here, or I can go in and do advanced. And then I can say I want it to be like art. and then I want to have a reference image, or I want to have some kind of a style to it. And then I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to click on the style and generate it. So when you do a presentation and you don't have images yet, you can use AI for inspiration, which is kind of cool because it did give me some kind of a bottle. So look at that. It gave me a different kind of bottle over here. And now I have another one. And then it takes a moment, I think, because we are recording it. It takes a moment, and you can go and have another one here. Or I can just go back here and put another one all the way here. And then if I click over here, I can make it a little round. And once again, I can go in and click on it, and you can see it pushes the text, and I have different kind of images with it. So if I wanted this to go back here and move it, I'm going to click on it and move it here. And look at that, I have it here, but I might go in to the work panel and then go in and decide how much is it pushing it to it. So I can go into type window, and then I'm going to go to text wrap panel, and I'm going to decide that I want to push it a little bit up. So do you see what's going on? I have something absolutely nice for the second page, and I have images over here. It's not the images that I brought, but it can be prototype to something that you have, and I have the first page that I have over here. So I'm saving. And let's check out what I have over here. I'm going to go into my properties. I'm moving it around. The text to image, I'm going to go and move it around over here. I'm kind of like fixing a little bit what I have. And then I'm going to go to my tab document to check it out, to see it without anything. It looks pretty good. And I might go back here and say I want to go to the presentation. So you can always check your presentation mode. And then I'm going to click over here. And then the next one, it's just the text, and the text over here, and another text, and another text that I have. And I'm going to go back here and click it out, and I have it over here. And now I can go in and delete that and see what I have, and go to my page panel again and look at the stuff that I did. So I'm going to go to the page panel, and I have the first one. So now already I don't like it. I don't like the title. I don't like things like this. I can start saving it. Then I have this one here, and I have it here. But you see here, this went in and linked because I had the text frame inside my master. So they are linked to the other page. So I go to the other page, and I have it here. And now I'm going to check it out if I have the same kind of text frame, I mean, the styles. So I'm going to go to the paragraph style, and then product information, no. So I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to say product information. And then if I go back here and go to the object style, that I'm going to go back here, I'm going to go into the object style, and then I'm going to click text frame, and look at that. Right away, it looks exactly the way I wanted it to be. Does that make sense? So everything that I have here is just exactly, and then I'm going to go back here, and if I have more text, I can go into the next page and have the text over here, and that's what I have only here, which it's fine, because maybe I want to go back here to the text frame, select that, and then click over here and look at this. And now maybe I'm going to put an image on top of it here. So the limitation that we have here is you cannot have in the same frame an image and text together. Cannot be there. It's going to have to be a certain overlay, but you cannot put an image and a frame in the same frame that you have. So if I wanted to put stuff in there, I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna do another text frame. See over here, it's another text frame. And now I can import an image, or I can say text to image. And then I'm gonna go import an image, and let's say I have the stuff over here, and then I'm gonna say replace selected item, and then I'm gonna go back here and I have the import image that I have here. So this is the image I just imported in, and it's just going into the area. It's not the greatest image that I have because that's what I cut and brought in, but this is basically the image that I have here. You just sport people, and of course it's going to be better if I have some sport people that I have some more stuff with it. Does that make sense? And of course, I'm going to go back here and click on the frame, Command Shift and click to open it. I can place some stuff into it, or I can go in and bring the stuff in there. I have no idea why it doesn't go in there today. It should be inside the area that I have. I know because it's a little snippet, that's why. I just had the wrong images in there. But I'm gonna go in and go back to my assets, and let's say I'm gonna bring this one. You see, it went directly in there. Just the image that I have. So I have one here, I have one here. I can also go back here to this one, and I can do another prompt and bring it over here. So now I have my styles and I have everything that I have, and I have also my images. Maybe I want to do a URL to it. So I'm going to go all the way up here, and then I'm going to go in and create some kind of a URL. So I'm just going to go in and say www. I'm just going to say drink and enjoy. Maybe it's your URL.com. It's going to give you an error message because it's not a real URL. I'm going to show you the difference in a minute. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to go into my hyperlink, and I'm going to say new hyperlink from URL. And then you can see in a minute, oh, it says, okay, so if it's green, it might look okay. And then if I click over here, it takes you somewhere, and it's probably another place. Oh, I guess we had something like this called drinkandenjoy.com, which I didn't know what it is. And that's actually, drink and enjoy premium services, handcrafted drinks. Cool. I mean, I thought we don't have it, but I have that. And that's going to be your URL over here. And you see the URL is actually blue. Why? Because that's a default. So if I want the URL to go in and be into the center of the page somewhere, or I want to go in and have it all the way to the side, I can go and move it, or I can just go back here and put it all the way down here. This is a character style. So I'm going to go to my character style, and it says hyperlink. I'm going to say duplicate style, and then I'm going to say hyperlink orange. And in the color area that by default was blue, I'm going to go in and make it dark orange. I also go to the basic format, and I'm just going to go and make that black and click OK. And now I'm just going to click on it, and then you can see over here, it tells me that I don't have this typeface that I have over here. So I might go back here and make that a different color. And then I'm just going to go in, and I have that over here. And I have this URL, which is a different color that I have here. Does that make sense? So everything that I have here, that's the URL, and everybody goes in, can go in and just create that. So now I'm just going to go in and test it a little bit because we're not going to do the entire thing. And then I'm going to go into presentation, and you can see I have the URL, and in presentation mode, it's going to be in PDF. And then I'm just going to go back here. This one, I didn't do anything. And I can see the stuff that I have. So I'm just going to go back and maybe I want to bring some other stuff. So I'm just going to go into the presentation mode. I might select this. I'm going to copy it because I want everything to be something else in there. I'm going to go to my page. Let's see with my page panel. And then I'm just going to go back here and it's going to say edit, paste in place. So you can see it over here. And now you can see that I have it the same thing. Remember before that, I had two different kind of guys over here. So I can go back here and I have a girl over here. I still have the stuff that I asked for because it is, so I can just go in and bring the girl over here. I'm just gonna go back here and then edit and paste in place. And I have that here. And I can just go back here and don't have so many pages. So I'm just gonna go back here and have that. And then if I go in and double click on that and copy it, I'm gonna go back here and paste in place just to see that it's exactly the same thing. So now you can see I have my presentation. And of course, you're gonna write different things. So if I don't want the same guy over here, I'm just gonna go back here, select him, and then see if I have a different person. I have the three of them. So I'm saving. What I have over here now is the entire presentation, and the end maybe can be contact me and things like this. I have a URL and everything. So now what else am I need to do? I have my links panel and it's all good. I'm going to look at my swatches panel. And if I don't want colors that I didn't use, I'm going to say select all unused. And I'm going to delete the colors that I don't want. So you can see now I have these colors and I have less colors over here. I also can check out my paragraph style and my character style and everything is okay. So if this one is a real presentation, I might go in now and save it. I'm going to save it again, but I'm going to do file and close. Let's say I'm going to make sure I save it in the right place. So I'm going to go back here. I saved it as a template and then that's it. So let's say the following day, I'm going to close that and I'm going to go in and start another presentation. And this is actually my template. So I'm going to do file and open. And I'm going to find my template. And then I'm going to go back here to the area that I'm going to go in. And then you can see here, all document. How do I want to open it? If I open it normal, it's going to open it as an untitled. And I can start designing a new thing. If I open the original, it's going to open the template. But I'm going to do open normal. And then I'm going to skip the stuff I don't have. And look what it is. It says to me that it's untitled. And now I can give it the real name that I want. Everything is in there and I can start designing different things. I can put different images, but I have a template for position only. So I can do file and save as, and then I can call it marketing for drinks, January 2025. And that's going to be an Adobe InDesign document. So if I check it out again, I can see over here, I have the presentation mode and I can see my Adobe, everything is in there and I can start changing it. I could have put some other stuff in there. So a lot of time people put text for position only, images for position only. So you can start fixing the stuff that you have. But the other fun stuff, let's say I wanted to share it with you now. And while I'm working with you, you don't even have InDesign. You are my art director. So now I want you to tell me if I did the right thing. So I can go in, first of all, I'm going to go into package. And I'm going to say package. They're asking you to save it. And I'm going to go to my USC seminar, and I'm going to package it, and I'm including a PDF with it. And then it's just going to go in and include everything that I have, and everything is okay. And I have a package. The other thing is I'm going to do file and publish online. And this is really cool when you're working on stuff, because now you're going to get a dialog box here. And then you can see marketing for drinks, January 25. You can write here, please look at the design before placing images. Because I don't have images, or before placing even text. Because sometimes I just work for position only with just text and everything. And then you can go in and say all pages or part of the pages that you have. You can do a presentation password. But if you do a password, you have to remember it, because if you don't, like me, sometimes it's not. You can also export an HTML package if you want. And in the advanced that you have, you can go in and say, what do you want to have as the first page? Do you want to have the name of the presentation, or you want to upload a JPEG or something that's going to tell you about the presentation? Then all the way down here, allow viewer to download the document as a PDF. And then that's the link that I gave you for my presentation. You can download it. Instead of sending you a file, I gave you a link. And now I'm going to go back here and then click publish. It is going to publish it. Sometimes it takes a moment. And then you can see all the elements there. And then I can copy the link. I can view the document. Now I'm viewing the document, so that's what you're going to view when you get it. I'm going to go back here, and you get that, and you get all the elements that you have. And then I'm just going to go back here and look at this. I even have the link there. And then you can say, do you like it? You don't like it? And all kind of stuff like that. And then you can go back here and click over here. And then you can also, if you view the document again, I'm going to view it again. I can go all the way down here, and I can go and share it or download the document if I want. So you can really be on the field and check it out on your thing and then work with it. So I know it is a lot what I went through, because you guys didn't use InDesign before. So before doing even a presentation with InDesign, you need to figure out the marketing values and all the stuff, and also learn how to do character, paragraph styles, working with pages, working with link, and working with all the stuff in order to create this kind of stuff that we have here. You can have this presentation, and it can be also interactive. So you can put a button there. You can also, you cannot do animation at the moment, but when publish online, you can put some stuff there too. You can have the link, you can have hyperlink going in from one page to another. So you can make it a little more kind of like interactive and more interesting that you have. But again, you need to know stuff about paragraph style and character style. I did a very simple character style and paragraph style just to kind of like show you, but I'm going to show you before we finish and ask questions, some other stuff that I have over here. And I think I have a PDF over here. And then I'm just going to go back here, and then this PDF actually was done in InDesign, and it was for a product, but you see it wasn't. It was for two products together. It was a project proposal, but you can see it was a template. So again, some stuff were not really there. And then you have a creative brief. It's very small. The key message of the presentation, the learning goal, You can see all the way in the top, it looks a little bit different. You have the logos in a different place. You have places underneath it. So my master pages or my parent pages, I had more here. And then I can divide it to different looks here. But basically, it shows you another kind of presentation that has even the budget or everything to it. And it's all done in InDesign. If you feel like InDesign is a little too much in the beginning, I highly recommend to check Adobe Express. If you are not really into the major doing complicated stuff, Adobe Express has extra wonderful presentation template that you can create your marketing template in no time. So I don't know, anybody knows Adobe Express? Did you look at it before? So if I'm just going to show you, it's not part of that, but if I'm going to go back here and then I'm going to say express.adobe.com, you have it part of your membership that you have. And then let's say I want to go in and browse template, but maybe I want to go back here and browse some templates that I have. And then I want to go back here and decide what do I want to go in and click on stuff. So I want to go in and I have templates over here. And then I can go right away and look at the templates that I have over here. I can have a template for a presentation right away over here, and then I can start working with it. So that's going to be like a wonderful presentation that you can go in and edit that, and you can have a presentation that looks like this, and that's not InDesign. That's super easy, and you can change it in no time in Adobe Express is online. So I highly recommend in the beginning, if you're starting presentation, go to Adobe Express and look at the template that they have. Later on, if you needed to do advanced presentations, if I'm going to go back here, and then I'm just going to go back here and click on that. And then I'm going to go in to a presentation. And then I have a presentation. So I'm going to go back here and I can start adding paper, pages and everything. And I can right away go to a presentation mode. Does that make sense? Highly recommend to start looking at that if you need. And if not, you can go and start doing. So it's up to you. Any questions about what we did today? Because I know it was pretty fast. And also, you didn't use InDesign before, so it's a little different. Any questions, you guys? What do you think? Did you get the idea? Was it a little bit too complicated? Great. So I'm recording it. We will place the recording so you can go over it. And then if you need extra information, you can always go to the beginning of InDesign over here and start looking at creating in the learning page, getting started with InDesign, how to format the text, how to do effects, how to do multiple pages, all this stuff over here, how to do like interactivity, like how to share a project, create a layout and graphics, all the stuff that you have here, you can go in and work with it. So you're going to get some information and then you get some videos and step by step, like creating a layout right away. So you can see it's a tutorial and then you have different kind of stuff here and you can see how you work with it. So again, if you have any other question, we offer here an InDesign class. I mean, it starts today between 4 to 6. And after this class, we're doing the certification test. So if you feel like signing in, you can. I'm also recording this kind of classes. So if you miss the first week, that's okay also. But we do a class step by step about stuff, and then you can take the test and get a certification in InDesign. So it's really up to you if you want to do that. Any other questions, or you guys okay? Okay, so the recording is going to be, I think, let's say, let me go back here, and it is going to be under Annenberg. Over here on the site that we have, it is going to go back to the sites, and then they are going to go and put it in the Digital Lounge site over here, and then you can see the recording over there. So this is the Facebook they have, but I think when you go back here to the, okay, here. If you go back to the URL, you see over here, this is the classes that we have, and then the recording, the tutorial, everything is going to go back here. So you can see here, like recording, and it's going to be inside the area over here. So all the classes that we do, not the certification class, but the regular classes, it's going to be under this area and under the event. And then you can see here, and you're going to see the files. Does that make sense? So I'm going to upload it today, and then maybe they're going to upload it tomorrow, and then we're going to see that. You can always send me some questions. In the presentation that I gave you, there is some information about me. So feel free to do that at any time, and feel free to go in to this area and see all the stuff that we have here and all the topics that you see over here. So thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you soon. I hope you enjoyed it.